I'm Jasmine Hardy, your host tonight for Let's Talk Real Talk. We're discussing topics that interest you, concern you, and affect you. Not only are we discussing these topics, we're discussing your opinion. Tonight's episode is titled Turn the Other Cheek. About 70% of domestic violence cases go unreported each year. Too many women and even men are turning the other cheek instead of walking away. So tonight we have 4 of our very own students here to give their voices to the voiceless.
Hi, my name is Genesis Mary. I'm a sophomore here at Clayton State. I'm also a peer mentor and a member of Beauty and Brains.
My name is Adebola Nini. I'm a member of CEC, SAW, and I'm a grad student.
I'm Toby Adedale. I'm a senior. I'm part of CEC and part of the Student African American Brotherhood.
I went for Oldham III. I'm a sophomore, accounting major, and I'm in organizations such as Phi Beta Sigma, ASAB, and SGA.
Okay, Genesis, can we start with you by giving everybody a definition of what you think domestic violence is?
I think domestic violence is when, not necessarily when it's physical, but it can be mental, emotional, and it just doesn't have to be someone physically putting their hands on you. When you feel like you are less than nothing, you let someone else bring you down.
I agree with her. I believe it's emotional abuse and psychological too.
A lot of times the abuser may try to justify their actions by saying that they were provoked. Do you feel in some instances there is a possibility that the abuser may be provoked?
Yeah. I actually do agree with that, but it doesn't justify their actions because really, even if you are provoked, you ain't supposed to put your hands on anybody else. You taught that from a young age. But I can understand why he would or she would do that, but you know it's wrong at the end of the day.
I believe it is provoked, and sometimes they say in the relationship, the women or the other partner knows really how to get under the skin of the other partner, and I feel like that could be the issue. Like he said though, that's not a justified abuse.
Okay. Sometimes people may feel like no matter how many counseling sessions somebody go to, once an abuser, always abusive. Do you feel this statement to be true?
I feel they can see counseling, they can be cured, but at the end, it's still be in the back of their head, you know what I mean?
A person has to want to change. You can't just, if they can say, oh, well, I'm not going to do it again. But unless they really and truly mean it, then it's going to happen again.
Think people can change?
No, not at all.
I think people can change. And I'm a firm believer of second chances to some, depending on the situation. So I think if they do therapy.
But if it's somebody that you just been with, you're going to be like, no, I'm not doing it.
I often feel like that's why women stick in relationships, because they believe they love the person and they can change. And they continue to get abused over and over again. And they're like, oh, I'm in love with this person, I love you. So I don't feel like that's a justified abuse.
Me either, because I don't feel like no matter how much you love somebody, they should really give you a black eye. Because I have a friend, like you said, she's so in love and she continues to go back. What do you guys think someone can do to get help and abuser can do to get help to not abuse again?
Well, like they say, counseling sometimes works, but I think you just really need to make a deep decision. Do you want to change? Like, if you really don't want to change, you're just going to relapse. Or do you really see the error of your ways and just going to refrain from doing that? And it's really just in yourself.
And normally when you hear about domestic violence relationship, you assume the woman being the victim and the man being the abuser. And sometimes roles can be switched. And sometimes when the roles are switched, they don't really, I guess, take it as serious. What do you think?
A lot of men don't want to report it. Because I guess it's kind of embarrassing. It's more like a ego or a pride thing. Like if you go to the police station and say, yeah, my wife is beating on me. You let it escalate.
I think a man should have the power to refrain his wife from hitting him or something like that, but if you don't have the capacity or ability to do that, you shouldn't probably be with her. Like, she's obviously stronger than you. You're being overpowered. Step it down a little bit.
But like she was saying, not only, it doesn't always have to be physical. What if it's mental? What if she's mentally ill?
We're going to look into it. Sometimes that can lead into the male being an abuser, and then that's the only part they see. But the look onto that side. They'll just look, oh, he was beating on her, but it never looked like she was using him, which is not fair.
So why do you think people in an abusive relationship have such trouble?
Well, I think because the abuser isolates them from their family and friends and stuff like that. And they think like, I could leave, but who I go to? I just got this person. I already left everything. Why not just stick it out? Like, that's all I got now. So
Sometimes it's often because of fear, or if they have a child with the abuser, they're scared that he might find them again and try to hurt them more, or possibly kill them.
And sometimes it doesn't pair. Sometimes it's also like your support group. Cause like if a girl's getting abused and she's telling like her homegirls and her homegirls are like, oh, I mean, it's just a little slap. I mean, he got money, he got, you know, you're good. Just stay with him. So I guess it just also depends on the people you hang with.
If you know anybody in a domestic violence relationship, what can you do to help them get out?
I think you can just give them advice, but until they're ready to leave themselves or until they're tired and beat up or beat on or whatever it is, then it's really not much you can do. That's how I feel personally, until they're ready to go.
I also feel you give them advice and then you give them opportunities and ways of how to get out, and assure them that once they get out, they'll be safe. The abuser can't come find them or anything.
Sometimes the victim may call the police, and after a domestic dispute, and the police come and just, tell the abuser, you're gonna stay at a relative house for that until it dies down. But then sometimes the situation don't die down, and they come back and retaliate, and things get worse. So what do you feel that the police or authorities can do to ensure that it doesn't happen?
Well, they can do like mandatory counseling or something like that, and until they really, for a set number of time, and until they really see a difference, they relieve you or something like that. And they do interviews with the kids, relatives and stuff like that. And if they say, yeah, we seen a change, now you act.
So what do you think the law should be on domestic violence?
I mean, you can set a law for it, but it's not gonna guarantee that it's gonna stop. But I mean, I think a good law would be like, a certain amount of jail time or something to that effect. But people break laws every day. So I mean, you can make a law, but people might not abide by it.
So as a whole, what do you think we can do to prevent domestic violence?
Just educate the youth. So maybe like we see it's wrong, we're against it, or something like that. Because when you're really too old, it's kind of like you already got your set lifestyle. It's kind of hard to change. So really, we got to go after the youth. Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, I would say educate. Even educate the parents. Like if you just see kids growing up and they just aggressive, just look into that. Because it always starts from young, and it just follows them up to adulthood.
Also, it starts at home. If a child sees their parents being abused, if it's a boy, then he may grow up and feel like it's okay to put his hand. And if it's a female, then she may feel like, oh, because mommy didn't leave, I'll stay in this relationship.
I also believe you should educate on both sides. You're educating the guy not to hit the woman or anything like that. You should also educate to see signs, and when you see signs, what you can do, what help is out there for you.
Lastly, what can be done to make more people aware of this societal issue?
Just broadcasting, I guess. Just don't hide it in the house. Let it be known. Domestic violence still exists, and it is increasing. Get it out there.
Okay, anybody have any additional comments on domestic violence or any advice?
Love don't hurt.
What do you think?
Because I guess it shows weakness, and nobody really wants to get help. It's like, I can do it by myself. I can figure it out.
Well, I would just like to thank each of you for coming out and giving your voices to the voiceless. That's it for today's Real Talk. Thanks for tuning in. Keep talking and keep it real.